Testing. 1, 2, 3. La. Wah! Good morning. I just caught a glimpse of what the stream was like before my transition over here, and it's like, holy cow. I definitely 100% need to get my original intro and stuff back. That was really annoying. A looping screen that does nothing but play 3 seconds. Oh my god, I'm so sorry to subject you to that. No matter what the intro is, or no matter what I'm doing while that's playing, it's probably better I go ahead and transition to the main scene now. Even having like the background. How does one change their... Hey, whoa, there's people here. Good morning, sack of ham. Next, now, should I put on my pants before the stream starts? A question I ask myself every time I stream. Hello, Philip. Good morning, Ribby. Hello, John Davis. Well, hello, Giles McNeil. Surprise. Phil. P-H-I-L. HQ Jam announcement is when... Is the music still looping? Oh, God. I'm so sorry. There we go. Just go ahead and get rid of that. So sorry. This is what I get for streaming like once a month to 2 months. The ridiculous... Stop streaming. Stop that. Little changes here and there come into effect, but they affect me in big ways. So I get on here and it's just all not ideal. Other people can do this very easily, but I struggle. I don't know why. I'm just gonna have to like stream every single day till I get it right. I'm looking down because my control display, we'll call it, is down here. I really need to have everything kind of moved up some because I don't really like the way that looks on stream. I look like my eyes are closed, like I'm Brock from Pokemon. Granted, he was one of the best characters and the one with whom I probably could relate the most, but what are we doing today? How's everybody doing? We got a lot of people here. I think we got like 6 or 7 people here. How do we change the avatar on the screen? I'm so glad the avatars work. You can't, but I could probably change it for you. Actually, I think there's some kind of like monetized feature where you could pay money and then you could have your own avatar. It's one of those things I need to practice. I need to do it like a private stream sometime and have some guinea pigs come in and help me test stuff. Just chill out and let me experiment. I got Streamlabs text on the screen that no longer applies. I'm not going to be buying a tail camera. At least not for the foreseeable future. That did not work out. And something I did get is also not going to work out, so I'm just not even going to worry about that. So I need to go to Stream Elements. Be awesome if I could even remember what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Go to Stream Elements, and I need to take that text off. Gonna play some HeroQuest today. Very good. Been writing quests all week, taking a break, playing Space Engineers. Good. That's a nice departure. Going from fantasy to space, just completely clearing the palette. Doing all right. Good to hear. Doing fine myself. It's not as hot this morning as it has been. For a blessing, I would not have streamed if it was going to be roasting back here, because my God, it's probably been the worst summer of my life. It's probably just temperature-wise. Everything else is fine, but the temperature has been the worst it has been consistently enough for me to be able to say, yeah, this is probably the worst summer that I've ever experienced. I've had summers in Texas that were dry heat, so they weren't that bad. The real feels were never up to what they are now. I was out playing in that stuff, running around at the park, climbing on hot equipment. And if I could just get under some shade for 5 minutes, I'd be cooled off. I'd be ready to go again. Not here. Not in the murky, muggy Midwest. But that's okay. That's all right. I'm glad we are... Well, actually, we have a heat advisory till Tuesday now. But today is fine. Today is fine. This morning is fine inside the house. I'll put it that way. Let's go to my dashboard here in Stream Elements. I'm going to change a little bit of the text here on the screen. You guys are going to be subject to some of my stream editing live. Remind me later on that. Let's go to my overlay. My current overlay, please. Going to edit that. And... Gonna do some quest testing. That's good. That's good. What is the group's thoughts on this? Played the first. A Sack of Ham is asking the group. Played the first quest of the main quest book last week, and I plan on playing the first quest of First Light today. I am curious because you can handle this however you want, and it'll make sense. But are you going to have everybody play their same people? Are you just gonna like kind of have the party jump back and forth between quest books? I don't think that'll be bad at all. Half the group played the original quest book already. It will make things easier, I think, for your main quest campaign. They'll be earning treasure and stuff in between original quest book quests, and they'll be coming at those quests stronger or richer, at least, than they would be if they were attempting it fresh. But you can always throw a few more orcs in there, or a couple more, skeletons, or a couple more Fimir, because you should be playing the classic HeroQuest, and then switching all of that over into the standees for First Light to represent the governmental changes of the realm between the 30-year time period of the two games. Obviously, the mandate that all monsters should be two-dimensional was passed. Have to add monsters anyway because we have 6 players. Oh, nice. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool because you're getting to... let's save that. Save that. You're getting to play with more people. More people are getting to play. Those are both two separate, distinct, but still very useful, good things. 2 pros for sure. Rudolph, hi, what's happening? What's going on, Rudolph? I'm here. We're not doing anything right now. Somebody asked about the Quest Jam. So, Quest Jam. Update on that. I'm too lazy to timestamp anything, so anybody who's watching this VOD later, that they'll have to, because this will be left up, for all of the rest of time. Quest Jam results are still going to happen. Quest announcement is still going to happen, but I don't have a set time because we are currently experiencing a bug, which is a known issue on the platform on which I'm hosting the jam, which is itch.io. And the bug is if you are hosting a jam and your judges and you rate the entries and you have to change the judgment end date for whatever reason, then your calculations, which would form the ratings page after the jam is over, do not calculate correctly. And instead of seeing any results at all, you see some text that says, your results are not ready, check back again later. And this has happened to me one time before in a different event that wasn't HeroQuest related. And God, that sounds like a nightmare, Sack of Ham. 6 days a week, 12 hours a day till his department's in order. Woof. Had to switch to me running Hero. Oh, he was your HeroQuester. He was your Zargon. Wow. Or they. She, I'm not sure. Man. Anyways, I noticed this happening, and it's like, well, results should be immediate. They should be immediate as soon as the jam is over, regardless of whether you've pushed the date or whatever. You should be able to see the ranking, and I, as the host, will be able to see the ranking before I allow anybody else to see it. But there's nothing there, so I have went to the itch forums. I looked for support. I found a place to report. I reported it. I gave them my details. I said that I'd heard that the itch admins can go in and push a manual ranking. So basically say, hey, glitch, move over. Please manually calculate the results of all of the jam entries for this particular jam. It requires a little bit of hands-on, so they have to push that manually. But kind of on me for moving the date, but I needed to move the date because I wanted to be flexible with my judges, and my judges needed more time. So moving the date caused the glitch, and the glitch is keeping us from seeing the results. So as soon as that gets worked out and sorted, I will pick a day to say that, it's done, it's good, or I'll say that immediately, and I'll pick a day to do the announcement on so everybody can watch that. And we'll do the announcement, and we'll celebrate, and I'll contact the winner, and I'll send them their prizes, and I'll let the other prize sponsors know who it is, and everything will be done. I can start working on videos, which I really want to do. I want to work on the quest videos, and I can't do that because I have no idea who's going to be in that 10 video ranking that I've orchestrated for this year. I don't know who the top 5 are. I don't know who the judges' picks are, and they can't pick until they know who the top 5 are, and we don't know that until the rankings push through. And I can't do a random quest until all of that's done, because don't want the random quest to end up being somebody that's already in the top 9. So it's fantastic. It's the Talisman Tavern. Oh, these people are awesome. If you have any interest in Talisman whatsoever, or if you don't know if you do or not, go check them out. Check out the Talisman Tavern. They play the game. You're getting actual reactions, strategies. You're getting the meta. You could review the quest and top and tail later with how they did. But the problem is I don't want to do all of that. I just want to do 10 quests, because doing a video for every single quest like I did the first year, that was too much. So I shortened the format to do 3 quests in one video, and that actually took a lot more load off of me than you might imagine. But I wanted to lessen the amount of work that went into that as well, and the only way to do that, and also to give more attention to the individual entries, is to go ahead and say the top 5 or the top 10, and I don't know what the top 10 are, so I can't do anything. But I guess I could review kind of all of them on stream, so I guess I could do that. I wouldn't be able to say what I gave that quest as a rating or a score. I would just really be going through and just talking about the mechanics and stuff. And that might make for fun. I've never done that before. I don't know. I would rather, really, I think I'd really rather just keep the videos focused on the actual presentation of the quest, but it's not a bad idea to go through, because then that way everybody kind of has their time in the limelight. But other than that, what's new with HeroQuest? I mean, it's a big machine. It's a big machine driven by the community. There's TSL Frontman. How's it going? Welcome on in. Good morning from the Midwest. Yeah, the unique and inspired mechanics this year were really cool. There were some really creative people. There were some really creative presentations of the quests, since I didn't limit it to what quest building engine they used. They came up with some really cool designs for how they were presenting the quest on their one page. I won't this isn't a spoiler, but I did, as usual, with every jam I host, have to disqualify a few things. One of the things I had to disqualify, it was on one page, but let's pretend, if you will, that the screen that you see me on right now is the size of your page, right? The top half of this is your map. So from about here on up, and then the bottom is going to be your text. And the person really said, I'm going to have a lot of text, but I want to keep this on one page. So they basically took their text and they have like a size 6 font. I mean, it's so small that the columns formatted are shrank. So I didn't even bother. Just for complete lack of accessibility. I don't even think I don't remember if I disqualified it or not. But I just threw zeros on everything because I'm like, I can't play it, so I can't rate it for accessibility. It's not accessible because I can't read the notes. I'm not gonna reward the trying to get around and skirting the rules. I'm very, very stubborn. I am fine owning up to my stubbornness. You could give honorable mention quests you think exemplifies a given playstyle. See, I like that idea, but I have no idea. I have no idea if a quest that I might have ranked low was ranked high by the other judges, which is fair and totally fine. And so, I'm not sure if a quest is unlikely to make it or likely to make it. We don't share notes. We each have our own side and our own access. Giles has judged before, so he understands. You see a page, you get stars that you can rate each entry across however many categories I set for that year. And this year I set 4 categories that represented a few different things each. And I don't see the other judges' ratings, and they don't see mine. They don't see each other's. It's all very private. So by the time the event is over, you don't know who is responsible for what. And I actually really like it that way. When I'm hosting an event, a game jam event for independent video game creators, independent demo game creator, whatever, I usually am the only judge, and I'm totally fine giving my rankings and being upfront. But yeah, most everybody ever understands my rankings because they're tied to the gameplay videos, and I'll talk about the things that I rate the quest on as I'm playing the game. So there's no room for anybody to come in and be like, well, I just think it's funny that you ranked that other game higher on its fun because I think mine was pretty fun. I don't get it. They could see who the judge is and how I'm approaching the game, and they'll usually be like, all right, I got to work on that. It's nice. It's nice. But in this situation, you have several judges. You don't know what everybody. It's not like we're holding up the signs that say, 10. Do you think we can convince Nomad Games to do a digital HeroQuest for us? Yeah, I think you could convince them to do that. If you got if you got some data, get some data on the sales of like Talisman and the business opportunities that are there, and you put together some well-worded, what do I want to call it? Well, a well-worded, not a proposition, but like, hey, I really think it would be in your best interest. Sounds threatening. You just threaten them. It would be in your best interest, if you know what I mean, if you don't want to wake up with a horse's head in your bed tomorrow. No, give them some hard data on numbers and be like, there'd be a lot of people who would love to play this if it was in video game format. Don't change anything. Give us the original IP graphics. Put it on Steam. Also, I wanted to say, Itch is going through a thing right now, and that's probably going to slow things down, which is disappointing and frustrating. But the thing that's going on with Itch is a little bit more frustrating and disappointing for a lot more people than me. They're having to deal with a current movement which is happening right now, wherein a group of folks have put pressure on payment card providers to cease or limit their services, which is providing the ability for platforms to accept payments using that card provider. And depending on the content of the thing that is being bought. So, in a nutshell, itch.io is delisting or desearchifying games that have any sort of adult content in them for now, because they won't be allowed to utilize, or Visa and MasterCard are basically saying that they're not going to allow them to use their payment processing services. And using Visa and MasterCard is how people pay for things on Itch. Not exclusively. You can use other things, but that's a heavy threat to see, and it's something that they're dealing with in a very hands-on manual sense right now, trying to make sense of it and work on their terms. So it would be very understandable to me if they had to kind of put other non-business critical tasks, such as manually pushing Game Jam rankings, off to the side. Although it would be nice to get transparency on if that's the case. I don't know if that is the case. Make a digital nerdy game for us or die. With the quest building kit from the back of the book. Yeah, drag and drop your own stuff. I would like the bare bones. Now, the quest jam is safe from adult content. Nobody submitted any quest maps in the shape of anything questionable, which every once in a great while I think, what if somebody did that? I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but I don't have any rules that say not to do that. And if I ever perceived something like, what would that say about me? I'm like, you can't make a quest like this. Look at how it's shaped. And then they would come back with, how's it shaped? And, you're right. It's nothing. It's just a dungeon crawler with very thick corridors. The quest jam is safe from that, but because their administration's hands may be busy with other things right now, they got to work on manually reviewing games that seem to have content that deems it, by the payment card processor standards, whatever those are, as qualifiably a problem. And they're not doing a perfect job of that, because right now their answer is just to take everything down. Like, if your visual novel has no NSFW elements in it whatsoever, but it has trauma in it, boom, it's got to be delisted, because somebody could see that or perceive it or assign an adult kind of context to it. And then they got to line out their terms of service. They have to line out what they're allowing, not allowing. They may kick all that stuff off. They hopefully will. Yeah, it's a USA phenomenon, Giles, but it was actually because of an activist group in Australia. So there's no telling at all who it's going to affect, or it shouldn't affect anybody at all. It should absolutely not get as far as it's gotten. It absolutely should be. I don't want to get political on the channel, but this is not the sort of thing that feels legal in a lot of senses. Your bank should not be able to control what you can and cannot buy. They should only be concerned about your security. That's the opinion of a lot of people, and we've got a lot of petitions going on right now that are going to hopefully get the attention of the card providers. Because if this stuff happens and it passes, or it isn't challenged and it continues to happen, it'll only get worse. It'll only get worse. You'll have all kinds of stuff getting taken down that doesn't even fit the criteria of why they're taking stuff down, and nobody will want to review it or fight for it or bring it back up. It'll just be, you're challenged. You must bring the... Gee. You must... Yeah, if somebody was able to set up an alternative, it's certainly, and I mean, but that's kind of like, it's kind of like going to a town, any town you want, and saying, at least in the US, and saying, hey, stop shopping at Walmart. Support this business by not shopping at Walmart. In practice, it sounds awesome. It's kind of doable, but at the same time, are you really going to convince everybody? And so having Visa and MasterCard on your side, giving you the ability to process payments, puts you in a good position. Now, that's if you're an independent creator, and you may not care as much if you're indie, but if you're AAA, you want all of that. You want all of that options available. I'm not saying I agree or really care what AAA developers think, but they're going to go the route that has the least amount of resistance. Steam did the same thing, by the way. Steam took a bunch of games off. That's the question we're all asking ourselves, Sack of Ham. That is the question of the year right now. Yep, Game of Thrones would be taken. There's a lot of stuff. There's an incredible... There was a Sonic the Hedgehog. Listen to this. There was a Sonic on itch.io. There's a comic from the publisher. Why they decided to use itch, I don't know, but it's fun. It's fun. It's great that they did this. They posted their Sonic the Hedgehog and Sabrina Spellman of Sabrina the Teenage Witch comic book. And I mean, it's the Archie Comics Sonic the Hedgehog. This is all official licensed stuff. And in that comic, it's just a kid's comic. It's just Sonic the Hedgehog. Sabrina's an Archie character, more or less. Okay? In this comic, your hedgehog, Sonic, is walking with Sally. Suddenly he disappears. Sally's like, where did he go? He's off again. He's sped off again. Wait, no, this is different. He just disappeared. Where'd he go? And the scene switches, and you see a villain from the Sabrina, the Teenage Witch universe. And she's the Enchantress, and she's got Sonic under her control. And she's like, haha, I've got control of the hedgehog. Now let's bring him into Sabrina's house for our nefarious plot. I don't know the context beyond those pages. It was not an adult story. Okay? However, that one page, which shows Sonic, who's hypnotized, and he's got the swirly eyes, and he's just like, must obey Enchantress, got the comic taken down because it was the implications of stuff were basically what took it down. Are they going to remove BG3? I mean, that's the extreme of where it could all go. So, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Announcement time. Since you're here, should I show stuff? Should I show games that I'm going to do videos on? I don't know. So is that what anybody's here for? I guess. Nobody asked, but I guess I could show you upcoming content. I got these. This is going to make absolutely nobody excited. Absolutely nobody. I got these, and we're going to do a playthrough of these. Not today. Not like right now on stream. Here we go. This is one thing I have. I'm going to tell you right now, not what I thought they were. I did not think they would be, like, granted, books that you had to roll dice on and had stats and all. We didn't have that expectation at all. But they're actually much simpler even than what I thought they were. Which way adventure books? Kinda. Fantasy Forest. So they're actually TSR licensed books. So they have official D&D property stuff in them. Or at least they could. I don't actually know if they do. It's from TSR, the producers of the Dungeons & Dragons games at that time. They're from 1983, so they're actually older than I am by a year. So it stands to reason they're not the best they could be because they didn't come from 84. I can't help them. I'm here for HeroQuest stuff. Let's go! My vote is for Stalagbite. I don't know what that is. And Dungeon Degenerates. Are they like the Lone Wolf books? No. Yes, they're more like the Choose Your Own Adventure books. You don't have any stats of any kind in those books, though. You don't have any, there's no hit points. There's just, if you want to do thing A, go to option A. If you want to do thing B, go to option B. So I probably won't keep them. Because I have a lot of stuff, and at this point in my life, I'm not going to keep a hold of absolutely everything. If I think that it could benefit somebody else, or if I think that it just doesn't fit with my overall grab it if there's a fire and make sure I save it mentality, those books wouldn't be getting saved at all, so they'll have to go to a better home. But I'll do a video about them. All right. Make more room for goats. Exactly. Totally off topic, but I've heard you mention Project F in the past. Just curious if that is still something you're working on. Yes. In a nutshell. My approach to projects is very chaotic. I basically follow through to a point, get burnt out, and I step away from it, and I go either work on something else or I just play video games until inspiration hits me to work on something else, and then I do that. And after a while, I return to Project A, or in this case, F, and that might explain why it's Project F, and I will work on that some more. Or I'll come at it with a new perspective and I'll say, I don't want this in this anymore. I know what my vision was for this, and I was hesitant about this part. I'm going to remove this part in favor of something else. But I have decided Project F, it takes up, it is right there in the top cubby of that wooden structure with Nilbog's photo on the top. It is awaiting my return. I'm not there yet. I'm still looking at different ways that people handle traps, because Project F has a lot to do with dungeon crawling. Have you played Expedition 33? No, but it's on my list. I have a lot of video games that I am working on right now, some heavy hitters that I want to get done with. Expedition 33 is one of my definitely play this. Looks lovely, and my list isn't actually that long. It's just big stuff. I actually got a lot of it knocked out not that long ago. My wish lists tend to be long, but my wish lists are basically Nintendo Switch games, or games that are available on the Nintendo Switch or Switch 2 eShop. I don't really get drawn into a lot of AAA type games, which I might play on my PS5. I really keep a closer ear to the ground on indie stuff, and most indie stuff it's not for me, but there's a lot of stuff that is for me. So I'll take a second look at it. And when it goes on sale, or if it's already a good price, I'll go ahead and grab it. I want to support, if I know I'm going to like it, I'll buy it. That's not a problem. If I'm exploring and I'm not sure, I'll wait till it goes on sale, whatever. But I actually got a ton, like 10 or more of the indie games on my Switch list that I really wanted to play at like $2, $3 a piece. And I was able to just knock them out, go through and say, oh, this was awesome. No, this one sucks. No, this is a waste. No wonder they didn't have video up for this one, because then I would have known it wasn't for me. Go on to the next one, obsessively play it, get done. I'm playing what am I playing right now? Loop Hero, I think it is. And Ring Lord Saga, I think it's called. And something else. I'm playing Guardians of Azuma, but the wife is also playing Guardians of Azuma, and I got farther ahead in it than she did, and now she has to play it and catch up before I can play anymore, so she doesn't get spoiled. So I gotta wait. Then, one of the bigger games I'm playing. Oh, I'm playing through some P-Crosses. I got addicted to P-Cross. Don't sound so surprised, hobo artist. Yes. We celebrate our 11th no, it's been longer than that. Jeez. I'm thinking of my work anniversary. Celebrate my 11th work anniversary at the end of September. Good grief. I think we're going to have our 16th anniversary this October. If you're in the Discord, or if you ever are looking at every once in a great while YouTube comments, Shar. Shar is my thumbnail maker as well. She does a lot of the thumbnails for the channel. And she actually she made this lovely shield logo right here for me to act as an icon for the channel. And no, I didn't get married in high school. I think I was closer to 25. I'm 40. So yeah, I was I was still in high school. I had to repeat 12th grade 7 times. They were finally like, God, can we please just let this guy go? Get him out of here. It's creepy at this point. Lose him. I appreciate that. Thank you. I look 40 in real life. In real life, you can see the lines. You can see the crow's feet. You can see the white hairs. The camera's not showing many of them. And actually, I've been getting into a habit of like plucking them out, because if I let any of this facial hair grow at all, the white hairs will grow faster and they'll just stick out whichever way. And I'm like, get out of here. You could look crazy. Doink. Dropping facts today. No, I don't have a filter on. It's just webcam clarity is pretty. I'm sitting far away, but if I get close, you can start to see. You can see where the horrors of reality have affected my visage. You can see the addiction to coffee has really not done me any favors. But I try to take care of myself. I've never been a smoker. I used to drink a little bit, but only like on the weekends and stuff. I do really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm trying to hang on to that appearance. The nice man at the crossroads too, who was all dressed in black and said something about a soul, and he was like kind of creepy, but I mean, he was so nice, and we made that deal, and I don't know what he got out of it, but I've looked young ever since. The gray skin of a caffeine addict. I'm drinking my coffee right now. I've got my 15 ounce 2.5-star health anime girl mug. Started doing YouTube stuff when it was 6 almost years ago. COVID was rampant, and I was temporarily laid off from work. And while I was at home, I'm like, I'm doing it. I've been wanting to do YouTube stuff since 2016. I'm gonna do it, and I did. I sat down and I recorded my very first video on RPG Maker's 3D plugin, MV3D. Australia does not want me to have this mug. That's absolutely right. The hair helps, yeah. I didn't actually start growing my hair out until I was 34, 3? Because it by the time I did my very first YouTube video, it was kind of long. But I've kept it long ever since. And yeah, it does help. Before that, I was taking my wall razor and I was just shaving it down with the longest attachment, which is only like an inch. And before I was doing that, when I was young, I always had my hair cut like a beetle. I always looked like Ringo Starr or something. It was not quite bowl cut, not quite, but bowl adjacent, if you will. You're more than welcome to join the Discord. I like folks that are active and stuff. So if you join, you'll get hit with the paywall channel pretty quick. But I'll go ahead and push you through because I could do that because it's my Discord. You can see all of the cool stuff people come up with. I'm on the tea in a Royal Yacht Britannia mug. Good, very good. Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Enjoy your tea. What kind of tea, though? What kind of tea? Regular? Earl Grey? Fancy bit of jasmine? Drinking my anti-Australian coffee. Do Patreon members only get to join? Right now, I've got it. I'm following a couple of other creators because I get a lot of lurkers. They come into the channel and they do nothing. They say nothing. A little while back, I did a purge. I said, hey, everybody, respond to this and I'll grant you a role. Respond to it to show me that you're still alive and here. And they did. And I gave them all a role. And I looked at those who didn't respond after like a week, and I said, I'm gonna boot them. I'm gonna get them out of here because they got a notification. So if they haven't been on in a week, that means they haven't been on Discord at all, 0, or they just don't care. So it's fine, boot. And I ended up like culling like 100 members or something. I did the same thing in the RPG Developer Backing channel. We had 2,000 members, and I culled over 600 because they were just dead accounts. So I thought to myself, there's 2 creators that I follow. One of them paywalls his Discord by allowing only Twitch subscribers in. And when you do that, your crowd changes. No, you're still in there. I'm pretty sure you're still in there, Giles. I wouldn't have booted you. I know your username. The only way you're not in there is if you either left or never joined. Because I don't actually remember if you did join or not. Otherwise, YouTube members and Patreon members get in. But honestly, if you want in, join anyway, and you'll see the one channel where you can talk, and you'll see the one channel that has the reminder about the membership, and I'll just push you in. I like vibes. I like folks that are active. It's okay. You don't have to be on Discord very much. And if I did somehow mistakenly kick you off, I'll get you back in. I don't think I did, though. I think I saw Patroncius and I'm like, he's all right. He's not on very often. Sorry, is the first light map usable for the quest jam? It was, yes. It was. Quest Jam's over now, but it was. Every map, even ones that were completely made up, were valid for this year's Quest Jam. That's cool. Love active. The Discord's kind of chill sometimes. It's kind of quiet sometimes. So it would be good to have folks in there chatting it up. Talking it up. Where else? I have a couple of channels that are all official, all me right now. I'm semi-active on Blue Sky. But that's, if you join that, if you follow me on Blue Sky, it's not just game stuff, so, you know, be warned. I don't have the same restrictions over there. I follow a lot of artists on Blue Sky, and I occasionally will try to commission folks, which is a nightmare to do, looking for different artists with different styles to illustrate different projects for me. It's kind of where some of my hangups are. And yes, Char is an illustrator, but she's not always for hire. So I can't always get her services. Sometimes she will sketch a nil bog for me. Sometimes she'll just randomly be like, here, I drew nil in this style, and give it to me, and I'm like, can I use this for like merch and stuff? And she'll be like, yeah. So that was okay, I got a nil bog. Hold on a second. Yep. Do I think a First Light expansion could be all cardboard? I do think they could go that route, yes. Wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't hate it. It's not like it would be my favorite thing in the world. Like, I would probably consider it a part of Star Trek Voyager instead of being Star Trek The Next Generation, and I would mentally compartmentalize them in different places, and I would delineate them, and I would still prefer original Star Trek, but I would not be able to really say that Voyager was a part of my TNG experience. Now, these analogies are not to in any way communicate that I do prefer original Star Trek, because while there are things about OG Star Trek I love, I think TNG is my favorite. But I will say Strange New Worlds is probably a close second. I want to finish the run. I'm going to watch it till they finish it, till they end it, before I make that calculation. But I'll say so far, I've loved every episode. So my wife didn't draw this. She bought these canvases with pre-drawn characters on them, and none of them were fantasy. They were all like just model-esque, you know, but she used them for color practice, and she colored me a Nilbog with one of them. So I have this lovely model Nilbog on canvas, on real thin canvas, which honestly is a great idea. It's friggin' awesome that they make these this thin now. And it's a bit suggestive. Like, this is kind of a, she given eyes, you know what I mean? But that's not Neil's character, but like, it's still really fun, and I really like it. So this is a permanent piece of art in my room because the colors are perfect, the skin tone and everything's perfect. Also, she's looking at a coin. That's the canon here. She's looking at a bag of gold, and she's like, "Oh, what's this?" Australia does not want you to have that. My channel is going to get canceled by Australia today. Got a couple more things I could show you and talk about. Academy looks rubbish. I don't know what that is. I can't keep up with everything Star Trek, but Strange New Worlds is my go-to right now. I'm keeping up with every episode as it comes out. I love the characters in Strange New Worlds, and I love the direction. I realize I just went through a whole string of very controversial, potentially, things to say. But I think everybody's entitled to their own Star Trek. Order. Starfleet Academy, the 2026 trailer just... oh, okay, so it's new. So it was probably a Comic-Con announcement thing. I'll check it out. Picard Season 3 was awesome. Yeah, Picard is... that was that's a somber experience. My kid has been crazy about Beyblade lately. How do I bring him back to dungeon crawling? You don't. You let him ride that Beyblade out. You know what, though? I'll show you. I'll show you. How can I do this? What if we grab paint.net and we play a little bit in Paint real quick? I'm going to show you something. We're gonna let Beyblade derail the stream. Miso, welcome on in. Gotta order my thoughts here. Okay, so I covered this earlier in the stream, so I'll just be very brief. Basically, itch.io has a bug about judgment calculations if the date on the judgment is pushed. And for that reason, we are experiencing a bug with the calculations of the jam. So I have had to ask for a manual calculation push, and the admins have received that request. So I'm waiting basically on itch administration to be able to see the jam results, and then I can share the jam result. I promise, as soon as I know something, I will announce what I know, and I will give a date, a concrete, definite date for the announcement to take place. I'm very excited for this. I want to send the prizes, I want to make the videos, but I can't until I know what the actual ratings were. And if worse comes to worse, if we get like where another month passes and we don't have any word, I'm just going to get the judges together and I'm going to have us re-rate all the quests. But we're going to do it in a spreadsheet, and I'm just going to manually calculate the ratings that way. We'll have to be a little transparent with each other, but that's fine. We'll rewind the vid later for more detail. Thank you. I go into a lot of detail about it, so please know I'm not skirting. I really want to get this the ratings and the results. Yeah, you missed out on the HeroQuest Quest Jam for this year. I'm going to do another one next year, so don't worry. Just keep an eye on it. It really needs to be a yearly thing. Any more frequent, and I'll lose my mind. Because every year I'm like, I got this. I'm going to do it. And then it ends up being more of a time sink. I'm like, I need more time. Any reason you don't mention the HeroQuest conversions of the D&D adventure games that are on the old end? I have a very good reason for not mentioning them, actually. Come a little closer. That's right. A little closer. Psst. Just let me whisper in your ear. I didn't know about those. I didn't know about them. If you told me about them, I'm sorry. You can step away now. Give me some space. There you go. Good. A little further. There you go. Now focus on me. Focus. There we go. Good job. Hi, Brian Smith. I'm stripping the paint of some failed boomerang goblins. New day, new paint scheme. Hey, I love it. I was going to make a crack about how there is no such thing as a failed boomerang goblin. That is not my ear. Giles, please. All I can do is sip coffee to that one. I'll look at the conversions, though. It sounds really cool. I'm sure somebody's told me about them. You've probably told me about them in comments. I just haven't gotten around to looking at them. I'll check the conversions out. I'm going to credit the creator, all of that. I got so many other things lined up. A lot of times I get games in. Maybe I get them at budget prices, or maybe I get a gift from somebody, and I want to make sure I cover all of that, and then I got to get rid of it if it's not exactly for me. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys, before we move over to address the Beyblade question, I have Legacy of Dragonholt. This is probably the third role-playing game I have ever spent money on. When I buy games, I typically look at dungeon crawlers. I look at adventure games, I look at different kinds of management games, and if they're fantasy themed enough, I'll usually try to get them into my collection. I don't play TTRPGs because I don't have a party of people to play with, so I don't buy Dungeons & Dragons stuff. The exception to all of this is I did buy Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay's 3rd edition book because it's so cool. It's just dripping with so much coolness. And I want to learn how to play that, and I don't care if I play solo. At some point, I'm going to play some Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. But I got Legacy of Dragonholt because it is single player. Or it can be single player. It's not inherently single player. It takes you through a 5 or 6 chapter adventure in which your party can all work together to make decisions, and it's not super combat heavy, and it's very, very rules light, and it's easy to die and come back from. This video is not sponsored. I'm just listing off all the things I find cool about it. It looks super accessible, and it's a great first RPG to introduce to somebody, but I really got it because it looked simple and charming, and it says it's fine to play for a single player. So how do you play a role-playing game as a single player? I'm glad you asked. Ginny D has a great video on how to play Dungeons & Dragons as a solo player, which is really quite sad. No offense to anybody who solo plays games. Absolutely, I solo them all the time. But solo playing Dungeons & Dragons feels a bit... I don't know. Solo journaling RPGs exist, and I have one. It's called My Date with a Goblin Girl. That's fun. I like that. I like how it basically just influences you to write, and I feel like that's what solo player D&D is supposed to accomplish. It just feels very silly saying, I played some Dungeons & Dragons last night, all by myself. But this is different because the situations are designed for players to not have to create anything. They're pre-written adventures, and the paths that you take are generally very choose your own adventure. So anyways, I'm excited for that. Make a video about that after I have spent some time with it. I still have to play The Expeditionary Company, which was an extremely kind gift of 4 very thick books that go into great depth to enable you to journey and make your own adventure. Can't you play with friends on Discord? So I'm going to be honest. If we're talking about D&D, I've tried, and it's just not the easiest thing to schedule and keep consistent. So these lovely, beautiful characters that you make and this lovely progress that you make in a campaign, it just kind of gets put to the side. And after that happens so many times, it's a really sad, discouraging thing. I think comments about them got deleted. I would not have deleted them. So if they got deleted, it may have been because there was a link. So if you linked them, I have my YouTube comments set up to nuke any links, all links. It doesn't matter. Because unfortunately there are bots, and I can go, and if I turn that off, you can see very quickly I'll get bots with links that are like, hey, you look lonely, click this link. And it's like, lady, your skin ain't green enough. I gotta scroll up. I've been blabbing so much that I've been missing comments. I think I mentioned them in the comments when we reviewed one of the D&D games. I also mentioned goats. I see all the goat comments. I see them all. That's why. And I'm glad you caught the infinite goats. I'm like, you know what? We're just going to address this here and now while we're recording the video. Have you ever tried the Descent games? I have Descent, 2nd edition, base game. I have played it one time, and I really, really, really want to... It's right there, actually. You can see it right behind my fat head. Blue box. The no, Australia doesn't want me to have those figurines on top of that shelf either. I think I enjoyed it, but I really wanted to explore the app. I don't want to play a game with an app, but I was going to let the app teach me how to play. So I haven't gotten around to doing that yet, and it's been years. So if that tells you something about my schizophrenia, that's MPD, Giles. They're different things. Now, I guess they're not different. Well, they are different things, but I guess you could accomplish a solo RPG with both. MPD if you are all of the characters, and schizophrenia if you're the only character that's actually there. Yesterday was HeroScape Day. One of our group is going to Gen Con. Hopefully he represents Houston well. Reppin' Houston. You're in Houston, huh? My aunt is from Houston. I used to live in a little town just outside of Fort Worth when I was a young boy. All of my memories of that are very, very good nostalgic memories, particularly because that was the era where I discovered X-Men, Spawn, Sonic the Hedgehog, Saturday morning cartoons. Those 5 years were awesome. They were such awesome. Power Rangers. You couldn't have had a better age, 7 to 11. Just, you could not have. It's close to 5 years. Any solo RPG YouTube channels you recommend? Yes. May hold on. I got one right now for you. Okay. I gotta double check the name real quick. It's Mage Hammer's Game Table. Fiercely casual player. The channel reflects that. Mage Hammer's got a lot of solo stuff, so I definitely recommend Mage Hammer, who is also on Itch, which I think I knew that, but it's been a while. They created Delves and Dangers, which is a rules-light game. That's one I can tell you for now. And Rad Elk, welcome on in. We started Rangers of Shadow Deep so I could use all my plastic and terrain. It was a fun break from HeroQuest with a similar vibe, but a lot of big tables set up in outdoor scenario spaces. Rangers of Shadow Deep, huh? I'm gonna write that down. Rangers of Shadow Deep. Don't know what that is. Looks like 2 people brought it up, actually. Have you heard of Rangers of Shadow Deep? There's a fantastic indie solo semi-dungeon. I have not, but I have it wrote down. What a coincidence. Going back up, Raymond Toll, Halloween Decor is coming back. Great for monster minis. Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. You'll have unlimited access to skeletons for sure. And if you're lucky, little Frankensteins, vampires, and ghosts and zombies. The Bathrobe Boys, Glenn and Zods, actually met each other playing HeroQuest. They went on a year-long D&D campaign. So much fun. That's nice. That's lovely. What are your favorite fantasy and sci-fi novels? Do you read a lot? Did you ever play Descent? And if so, did you like it? Oh, I think that's where I saw the Descent question. Sorry about that. I've been all over the place. So I used to read a lot as a kid. I blew away an entire children's section of books, and then I went and moved over into like other areas, and I read a lot of compilations of Silver Age and Golden Age comics, which is where my love of Batman and Superman came from. Some Superman. Wasn't a huge Superman fan beyond that book until I read All-Star Superman, and then I said, I don't need to read anything else. This is the only Superman comic that exists as far as I'm concerned. You mean those are not real chicks in the comments? They're not real goats either. Do I read a lot currently? I'm trying to read more. I actually wanted to do like a book club kind of thing. One of my friends recently got his channel absolutely nuked because he was doing that, though. He was reading books on stream, and the the IP holders, they don't find you immediately. They never find you right away, but eventually they find you, and they found him, and his channel just got absolutely nuked. So I looked at that and I said, I want to read Warhammer stuff, older books, but I don't want to risk that happening. And then it wasn't that long ago I was watching a video that was Warhammer fan content, and the comments were like, it was all original stuff basically, but at some point the content creator held a poll and they were like, should I keep doing this? Because I don't want Games Workshop to nuke me. And they've been getting bad lately about going and taking down fan channels. And I think they're okay, but like, I don't want to risk that either. So I guess I'm going to put some more thought into how to do that. Bio, welcome on in. Hello. Ruckus Bringa, welcome on in. Any more HeroQuest expansions to talk about? We're waiting for Wizards of Morcar. I have a strong feeling it's going to be announced this coming Thursday, or probably not Thursday, Friday or Saturday. I have a strong feeling it's going to be teased at the very least, because it would be very remiss to not see a tease. I would probably get concerned if I didn't see a tease. So, that's where I'm at with expansions right now. We got Giles McNeil making a First Light expansion, exclusively using the cave side of the board, which I think is very much needed. Apparently it's not the only one out there, but it's the only one I'm going to support for now. And if anybody wants to make one, and I won't get on that spiel. I've already had those conversations today. I'm not going to get on that spiel again. I'm painting the Ogre Horde, and honestly, the big guys are so cool. I'm avoiding painting them so I don't ruin them. You won't ruin them. You're doing an amazing job. Playing TTRPG solo is kind of depressing. It is kind of depressing. It is a little depressing. But for Legacy of Dragonholt, I'm going to be bringing in some OCs of mine. I'm very big on creating characters. Very, very big on creating. I have OCs that I put together for playing Final Fantasy XIV back when I was playing it. I can't be bothered to play it now. But I made a character I absolutely fell in love with. It was an aura that I named Vierge, and I made up a story for them and took them along and had a lot of fun just thinking of the situations that were going on, applying to them, and like thinking about how they were actually thinking about it. And the game kind of gives your OC a little bit of personality with a little tiny itty bitty bit of agency, because they'll shake their head or they'll say yes to certain things, or they'll make facial expressions to certain things depending on your choices. So I tried to play them close to how they would be. And I made a couple other characters, and then I just decided to write this whole backstory that linked all of them. And I loved that so much, my own story, that I'm going to be bringing those characters into Legacy of Dragonholt when I play it. So I'm going to continue my journey with those characters in another medium. Excuse me. 5 leagues from the borderlands, huh? Peter Weiss, thank you for that suggestion. 5 leagues. In fact, the latest 5L compendium has a standalone Dungeon Delve version. Okay. Grimdark Narrator has been reading Warhammer on his YouTube channel for years. See, I see stuff like that, and that's cosplayer posted. You got a C&D from GW for making a Space Marine costume. It's like it's vague, and I worry that if I start, it'll be something that I feel very personable about and want to continue with, and I don't want to put myself out there just to be disappointed and rejected by a Cease and desist. I don't know if I can take it. I don't know if my heart would be able to take it. I read Genevieve. I read Drachenfels. And Drachenfels was such an amazing book. Completely divorced from its Warhammer adjacency. It's not even adjacent. It is basically more. It's a fan fiction set in the Warhammer fantasy universe. But it was such a good book that I was so happy that it was my first Warhammer book. It gave me an extremely good impression of the author and the fantasy universe and the Black Library and all of that. And I thought, man, I would love to read this, reread it on stream and talk about it and give you my thoughts. But I might do a review series of videos instead. Read the Warhammer novels in Pig Latin. I'm behind. I'm catching up. Yeah. When do you start your dedicated ASMR channel? Retro Arcade fan. You're one of the very few people who know about that. Like, how? How did you know? The channel exists, but I don't have any content on it. And in fact, I have a 3-tier shelving unit off where you can't see it that has a lot of props and costume stuff on it as well. I want to. Ever since I got into IT, I lost so much extra time. So much extra time. You can read my Motherhood. Where did that come from? The transmissions are glitching. You can read my Robin Hood murder mystery novel, even on stream. I appreciate that, Giles. That sounds extremely unique. Don't spoil anything, but like, I have so many questions. Is Robin Hood killing people now? Is he stealing organs from the rich to give to the poor that need organs? Did somebody kill Maid Marian? Oh, man, what a rich premise. You don't even have to say anything else. Just, it's a Robin Hood murder mystery novel. That's all you have to say. It's already rich with opportunity. Afternoon, Ash. Thanks for all the hard work you put into your videos. I'm sure I speak for everyone. I say we appreciate you. Thank you. 16-bit Mr. J. Haven't you written a novel? Read that. I would read Rewonderland, but it would be the only thing then. Like, and I do want to read that. The friend I mentioned earlier read the entire book on stream because I gave him permission, and I gave him explicit permission because I hold all of the rights to read it again for his new channel because he's going to start over and he's going to go take the approach of just read books that he's got permission to read. So, but I want to do an audiobook version, and I want to do my own audiobook version of the book. I won't do that until I find a platform, which I guess might be Audible. I don't know yet. I know you can't do it through KDP. I thought KDP gave you the option to do audiobooks, and that's not the case. So I'm going to have to find a platform, and then I can get started on it when I have time. I've been wanting to do it ever since I wrote the book, which would be another... This is not a shameless plug, but just for anybody who didn't know, I wrote a book and I self-published it after sending it out and waiting for not like a couple years. I waited for a year to get results back from publishers, and DAW actually sent me a response back saying, hey, we decided no, but I mean, it's got significant qualities, significant positive qualities. And when I got that response from them, I was very appreciative that I got a response at all. And I hopped on Amazon. I said, I'm going to self-publish. We'll just go ahead and self-publish. I've sent it to Tor. I think I've sent it to DAW. I sent it to a bunch of, I'm going to go ahead and self-publish. So I did. And it hasn't sold at all. But it's out there. And that's all that matters to me. I don't care that it hasn't sold. I said I wanted to write a book. That was on my bucket list. It's a fantasy horror. Fantasy horror. Move to the UK. I would ignore a cease and desist. I couldn't comment on that. I agree with you on New Descent. Didn't like the app. The minis are too fancy for HeroQuest. I don't like the scale of the minis, for sure. The Cardboard Train was almost good, but I still gave it to my son-in-law. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to figure out. Do I like it enough to obsess over it and collect all the expansions, or is it a no? Because it could be a no. Riders of the Dead is a great underrated Dan Abnett Warhammer fantasy book that is a fantastic read. Okay. I have a collection of Black Library books, and I think I have one with some short stories in it, but they're like all Sisters of Battle stuff. So I don't have that one. I have The End Times, Volume 1. I'm talking the omnibus trilogy type books, but I got The End Times Volume 1 and 2. Each one's got like 5 stories, and I want to hold off on reading those till I read Ulrika the Vampire. So I've got her trilogy. That was not cheap. I did not enjoy hunting for that one. The freaking Skaven books, oh my god. Most expensive books I've ever seen. But I want that Skaven trilogy about, what are their names? What are their names? Crap. I think it's a Grey Seer and a Rat Ogre. They've been around for decades. I've got some work to do as far as reading goes, and I want to talk about Genevieve, but I have 2 more books. Yeah, Thankful and Bone Crusher. Those books. Yes, thank you. I need those. I want those very badly. I'm a huge Skaven fan. Bone Ripper, thank you. Bone Damager. Thankful and Medical Bill Causer. I was going to say, would I consider doing a video on the best, most creative mechanics you saw across the jam? I would say that's a very good idea. And it's one of those ideas where it's like, why didn't I think of that? If I have time for editorials in between game stuff, and there's a reason I time things out, I will absolutely do it. I got to write it down though, because I'll forget, and then somebody will remind me in 6 months. So, most creative, excuse me. The phlegm is making its guest appearance on stream. What did I miss? Did I miss anything else? No. Eyes went to crap when he turned 40, said listen to Dragonfell's on Audible. Hope it was a good experience. I haven't listened to any audiobooks myself. I listened to my friend read my book because he was providing commentary, and that was just like platinum to me. It was like receiving. The book is Wonderland, R.E. Wonderland, and it's about a young lady who has no memories. She falls from the sky. She lands on the front door, basically, of an arcane castle with a mad ruler, and it is very Wonderland coded. But when I wrote it, I was watching The Walking Dead, and I was watching Game of Thrones, and I was really drawn into the idea that any character could die at any time, and to really provide meaning to the character, just make sure that they have a purpose before they go. Make sure they fulfill the purpose literarily. That's not a word. Before they exit. So I did that, and I have a handful of characters from it that I absolutely love. And I want to continue writing about them and bringing them into other coded works, if you will. The next book that I want to write is about the main character of the first book, and I don't want to spoil anything, just in case anybody ever decides to read it. The setting is a ship, though, and it's going to be drawing a lot of parallels to the hunting of the Snark, but I'm going to depart from that, just like I do with Wonderland. Then the third book will draw a lot of parallels to Through the Looking Glass, and any books I write after, if I if I do what I really want to do, if I had the kind of time that I would like to have to do it, the books 4 and 5 would be very Sylvie and Bruno coded. So we're basically running the whole gamut of the Lewis Carroll works. And the mindset that I want the readers to have on their own is, oh, so the characters are kind of parallels to the roles that the characters play in the books that these are kind of based on. And then as they read, they see that the characters that they thought were going to be in those roles are not, and everything is offset. I'm already in love with Genevieve. She's fantastic. But no, that's good. That's good to know. I absolutely will check into that. Because I got back into reading to finish answering the question earlier, and I've been reading, finally, chipping away at the discounted fantasy books that I've been getting from thrift stores and half price books and stuff. I have a lot. And at some point I want to get back into reading Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. The what's it called? The Deathgate Cycle, I think, is a 5-book series. I read 2 of the books when I was a kid, and I want to get back in and read all 5 from the beginning, because the books I read were Elven Star and another one that I can't remember the name of, but I know which one. It was the Book of Water. So onward, Danny. Eudochio, Paraiso. Welcome to the stream. Welcome on in. The Sherwood Forest Mysteries, The Scarlet Cloak. Why exactly are you strangling that old man? All right, so it's time to announce the big announcement. It's not really a big announcement at all. Hold on, we're going to transition this real quick. Boom. Can you still hear me? Yep. I'm still here. This is paint.net. Beyblade person, hobo artist. Hope you're still here. I have an answer for you now. All right. It's been 84 years. I still have an answer. I was also really big on reading the Scions of Shannara, and I got through all of those, and that was such a good series. I loved that so much. I was so happy at that series, with that series. Again, as a kid, yada, yada, yada. Boy, I sure would be disappointed in whoever couldn't recognize what I'm drawing. I'd be disappointed in myself. This is very not to scale, okay? So don't make fun of me. This is a HeroQuest board. And we're going to go ahead and the board. It's the board. All right, so here is, we're going to talk about this Beyblade mechanic. This is how you get your kids away from Beyblade back to the dungeon crawler. No, what are you doing? Not the clone stamp, you silly fool. I didn't know that was the clone stamp. That's my bad, actually. Draw filled shape, and then we're going to go to circle. We're going to have green. I want green. Why are you not green? Green. Oh, you're weird. Okay, fine. It's fine. It's all fine. Here is the stupid, useless elf. Right here. He's represented by this green square. And then, represented by... Whoops, no, you need to be green. Then, here we're going to have the seminal, necessary, strong, handsome barbarian. And then right here, we're going to have the very wise, very powerful, very only strikes when it is necessary wizard. Actually, I'm going to make the red the dwarf, okay? So the red is the dwarf. Right here's the barbarian. He's doing his job. He's up front. He's charging. Whoa, he's gone. He escaped. He ran away in terror. There you go. Okay, here's where we are so far. We have a Glen 1N that just showed up in my Discord server. Who is that? If that's somebody here, I'll just push you right on through. Okay, just... Oh, that's you? Talisman Tavern? Hold on. Let's get you in there. Anybody else who wants to take advantage of this time, if you join the Discord server, I'll throw you into the main server. You're going to bypass the paywall. I do a lot of half-thoughting. We'll leave that. Australia doesn't like that. I do a lot of half thoughts. I do a lot of tangents that I'm going to go on that I plan on finishing, and then I don't finish them until later. So I apologize. That's got to drive some people nuts. It would drive me nuts. So there's that. However, I want to say, I think Jordan Sorcery, lovely guy, amazing guy. He was considering paywalling his Discord. When he said that, it was because he loved the community that was there, the vibe, and I actually don't know if he has or not, because he grandfathered everybody who was there in, so I'm still in his Discord, even though I'm not a paid subscriber to anything. But I need to remember to subscribe to his Patreon, because he's got some paywalled stuff that I really was interested in hearing that I can't remember. I'll have to subscribe to remember. There I go again. And that kind of planted the seed in my brain. Well, if I like the community that I've built so far, not the one that I've built, like the one that you guys have built, who are in the Discord and building the community, and like even now, the stream community that's happening is so wonderful, and I'm honestly super humbled to have this level of interaction and engagement, and I really, really appreciate you guys very much, because if you weren't here, I'd probably be doing some HeroQuest builder stuff and talking about the mechanics. So I'm not doing that because you're asking me questions. So actually, it's pretty terrible. That's true. I'm kidding. I like this. Though very much. Love this. Very lucky to have folks to engage with. Absolutely. But like, if you like the vibe of something and it starts to become bigger, then you kind of run the risk of, well, am I going to be able to manage it? Am I going to have to rely on mods and all that? And I saw his point, and in the moment it made sense to keep that kind of tucked away in my toolbox for later. And so many people join the Discord that just end up lurking, and that's fine, but it's kind of, it's not for that, you know? I love that people want to stay and lurk, and obviously if I paywall it, they'll still come in and stay and lurk if they're willing to pay for it. At that point, fine, do that. But if everybody lurks, there's no content. If everybody lurks, there's no discussion, right? So, Glen 1N, we're going to give you the Legacy Hero role. And now you'll be able to see everything. Now, who's Indie 51? It's Hobo Artist. There you are. Indy, is that a reference to Indianapolis? Now, hold on. You can lurk. You can lurk. I don't want you to... Baca Gringo? I don't know if you're in there or not. I'll do a search real quick. I'm kind of going back and forth here. The other streamer, actually a Twitch streamer, which is very rare for me that I watch, Brutal Moose, his community is totally paywalled. his whole reason for doing that and his vibe is totally a different context. He plays games and his supporters show up and watch him play games and have a back and forth with him. And sometimes he's antagonistic and it's hilarious. But this is more of like a resources also kind of channel. So I don't really want to paywall certain things. There's no reason to. Nobody else is doing that, you know? So it's kind of the more hangout community aspect that I would like to paywall, and I would like to share my own creations behind the scenes and ahead of time to folks if they're patrons or if they're YouTube members or whatever. And there's a couple of other things that are like slice of life stuff that I don't really want to influence my metrics on YouTube that I'll share to members only. And that way, because they're members only, they get treated a little bit differently by the algorithm. I don't have to worry that the channel's going to tank now because I'm putting up content that's not relevant. But if people want to see it because they're members, they can see it. And then that will be, that'll be great. And then there's other stuff that I work on that I want to put up for members only first. Then after some time, I'll move it over to the free. But I'm really still trying to figure out how I want to do that in a way that doesn't feel gross. Because a lot of that stuff, the members only and all that, that does feel kind of gross. And at some point, it's like there's such a wealth of free stuff out there that's useful and resourceful. Why would you want to pay for any of it unless you just really do want to support the creator? So it's a many-sided coin, which makes it a very difficult coin to spend. Indy 51, you're in. You're in. Name's Indy? Nice. Reference to Suda 51. Okay, so here's our HeroQuest board. And I'm not going to what we're going to do is we're going to share a method of taking your Beyblade infested relatives and turning them back into dungeon crawl. This can all be solved with a simple trap. We're going to design a trap, and the traps in HeroQuest, some of you may have seen. One of my grievances, because we could do a lot of stuff with traps, but traps are generally underutilized. So we're going to have a nice brick wall. Whoa. What in the heck did I just draw there? Please undo that. Undo. It got massive. I have no idea how that happened. Filled shape. Hello, Jeff Whitty. Good day unto you. Go ahead and make a blocked wall right here, and we'll make a blocked wall right. Nah, I don't want to do one right there. We'll do one right here. So the way this trap is going to work, what color represents a goat? You know what? We'll do a goat. Because why? After all, why shouldn't we? But I'm warning you, the goat's going to be in the goat room. So we're going to put a door here, and we'll put, we're going to do some pink goats. Brown door, ash. Good enough. I don't have animal stamps. I have no animal stamps whatsoever. None of any kind. Oh well. Let's see. Goats are like... Jeez Louise. Learn to paint, Ash. Here we go. So just gonna put them in this room. We got two that are standing this way. This one's a little bit bigger. Then we got two baby goats. The significance of the goats is up to you to decide. Then we have a big goat who's guarding the door. Okay? Those are goats. Ash, I published a D&D book of traps a few years ago. Let me know where I can send you a PDF. A book of traps? You published a D&D book of traps? If you want to share the link in the Discord, I'd be more than happy to take a look at it. If you were interested in sending me a PDF, I have an address. Is my camera warping? Oh no, my screen is waving in the wind of the fan. That was weird to see. So, the Book of Traps would be a list of the chicks I've dated. It's fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and put a poor goat here as well. This. Well, no, I won't make that a goat. I'm not gonna hurt the goat. We'll make it a goblin. All right, we're ready. We're ready. Enough of this chit chat, beating around the bush. We're ready. So you're gonna have a special character. You're gonna represent them with the Chaos Warlock or the Dread Sorcerer, the Chaos Sorcerer, Dread Sorcerer, whatever you want. You can really represent them with any character you want. It can be an orc. It can be. Better make that like a really light yellow so you can actually see it. It can be a mummy. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You can actually represent different types of this character with these different characters. And I'll explain what I mean and how. So let's go ahead and do Chaos Sorcerer / Dread Sorcerer first. They have an ability, and it could be the only ability they have because they're not a full-fledged sorcerer. They are a... Trying to work my magic here. What do we call them? What do we call them? They are a blade spinner. They are... What do you do with Beyblades? You rip them, don't you? They're blade rippers. This is a blade ripper. And it could be a chaos sorcerer blade ripper. Or it could be an orcish blade ripper. It doesn't matter. Or a blade ripper is going to be a new class for all of the enemies now. Okay? Now, there's going to be a point to the quest that you can set this up in. It can be completely homebrew, it can be an existing quest, it doesn't matter. You go ahead and have this quest, you have one or more of these enemies, if be of this Blade Ripper class. And now the Blade Rippers have a special ability. They can toss traps that are mobile, that spin, and are covered in blades. And these top-shaped traps go flying through the dungeon. They have different architectures. Each one works a little bit differently depending on the culture of the creature who has manufactured it. So a goblin Blade Ripper is going to not have the same functionality in their trap that they desire as a Chaos Blade Ripper, okay? So the Chaos, let's actually switch gears. We're actually going to make it a goblin, because we're going to start simple, right? We'll make it's a smaller green. So there we go. Smaller green. There we go. This trap, it can travel an infinite number of squares when they toss it. You don't even really have to be in line of sight for some of these, but the one that the goblin has specifically, and feel free to change this as much as you want, or interchange stuff, or do whatever you want with it, but the goblin will toss their spinning blade top, which is very ambiguous looking and not tied to any existing IP, and it will travel in a straight line until it hits a wall. Upon hitting a wall or any other object, it will simply bounce back 180 degrees and fly back towards its origin. So the two ways that you can do this, you can have it be one complete action. So basically, our goblin who has this ability can use it on any hero in their line of sight. So in this example, the goblin has line of sight to the dwarf. The blade will hit the dwarf. They will roll for attack. It needn't be a very powerful attack. It's a goblin, so just roll one attack die, okay? So it could be a nuisance, if anything. And then it will return to the goblin. Or you can do this in 2 turns. You can use a token, like a skull token, to fly towards the dwarf That's white. That's not going to show up on camera. Okay, pink instead. Skull token right here. Place it down next to the dwarf to indicate that in this time, the trap has hit the dwarf. Roll for attack, have the dwarf roll for defense, and then go ahead and let the heroes play out. If anybody touches this trap, they're going to have to roll defense against it. They can't pick it up. They can't attack it. It is a trap that is active on the board. That's all. In the next turn, it will return to the goblin. So turn 1, chicka 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 bonk. Turn 2, chicka 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 bonk. If it hits the goblin, they catch it, they can use it again. If it hits a hero, the hero takes damage, but the trap goes away. The goblin doesn't have it anymore. Or the goblin does, because they have more than one, so the next turn they can just chicka 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 chicka. So you gotta take out the goblin, okay? Can the dwarf disarm the blade trap? These are special traps. The moment you kill one of the monsters that has this specific trap type, the moment you attack them, take them off the board, rather, kill them. I don't like saying kill on stream. It feels very Australia bannable. You will roll a die. You can choose to do this different ways. You can roll a die, and if you roll a black shield, then you acquire the technology. Liminalia, Jeff Whitty, great ideas, very good ideas. Okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Build off this, take it, transform it. You acquire the technology. Okay, and either in the next quest or in this same quest, I guess, you can now disarm this kind of trap when it approaches you. The difference between this trap and any other trap is your turn's done. It's Zargon's turn, and they're actively using a trap that's mobile on you. So you can say it's disarming it in response. You don't have to use your hero action or whatever. You can disarm it as a reaction. So we're treating it like a trap because of its presence on the board. We're treating it like a trap because we are going to disarm it. Can't disarm an ability. But you have to earn that. In my games, you will earn that. You will incrementally earn each step of this. So being able to disarm the goblin trap, you can now try to disarm it whenever it approaches you. And I say disarm, but it's not like the dwarf is in lightning speed whipping out his tools. Screwdriver, Australia almost didn't like that. His disarming kit and like preparing to catch it. He's more just mitigating it. He knows how to defend against it. And if you roll a successful disarm rather than a defense, then, or you can choose to defend in this. It's just up to you. It's up to you. Then the trap will go away the next time it hits. The monster won't have it anymore. They just won't have it. However, the goblin is not the only one to have this capability and this technology. We have the orc. The dreaded orc is much bigger than the goblin, and they have the same technology more or less because they bullied goblins into making it for them. The difference is they wanted it stronger, and they wanted it to cut more, be more of a cutter, more of a slasher. So the slasher trap type actually works a little differently. It can bounce off of one wall. The trap will continue to travel until it reaches one wall, and then it will bounce 90 degrees. Don't ask me how that works. It just does. And then if it hits a wall again, it will return and then return. And again, you can make this one action, which I recommend to reduce the amount of overall tracking. If you get different numbers of monsters on the board that can do this, just make it one ability to deploy the trap and have it return to the orc. Or you can say that this is the variation of the trap that lands in place and stays there. And now that it's there, it acts like a spike trap, and it has to be disarmed. It can't be stepped over or it clamps down. Okay. Trap variation number 3. If you defeat the orc, by the way, you will acquire the means to disarm this trap in its moving state. You will be able to mitigate it. Trap number 3. It's a skeleton, and of course it's going to be a spinning bone trap. I can I can actually envision this perfectly because I've played enough Dark Souls. There are skeletons who basically have wheels made out of bones embedded into their own bodies. And when they see you from a distance, they start rolling. They suck. They suck. But they're like in every Souls game until you know how to deal with them. Then they don't suck anymore. But man, when they first show up, they suck. So the skeleton itself in this case could be what travels. And it could be like a glass cannon. If it hits you, it's going to hit you for quite a bit of damage. But if you defend against it, that monster could just explode into bones. Skeletons only have 1 BP. I mean, so we again are talking about defeating this monster to gain the means, engineering means, and you can have an engineering thing in between quests if you want to handle this. To pay money for if you're needing a gold sink, or don't pay money if you don't need a gold sink. But you can earn it either way if you want. And you can also set it up to where you have to defeat multiples or mitigate multiples of these monsters to totally learn how to mitigate the trap. But I have another tier. I have another tier of this. Okay, we're not done yet. After you have earned the trap mitigation, or if you have defeated enough of these monsters, or if you have mitigated enough of their traps, you will be able to, and this could incur either a gold fee or not, it's your decision, create your own trap. And you can have now your own goblin, trademark ambiguous, bladed, spinning top. And you, as the dwarf, and this is where it's really going to draw in your Beyblade kid, they're really going to want to play, because now they have a Beyblade. I mean, they don't have a Beyblade. They have a spinning top with spikes on it that is not a Beyblade at all, in any way, shape, or form. They're completely different things. I'm sorry if you don't see that. But their trap now can bounce off of walls if it's the right kind of trap. They can hit monsters from around the corner, and it's going to take a lot to earn this, right? Like, you're not going to get it after Quest 1. Quest 1, you should sprinkle in a couple of monsters who have a couple different of these traps. And it maybe not Quest 1, because that's the trial, but at Quest 2 onwards for sure. And get the idea going. Or, do Quest 1. Introduce it early. Put a couple of healing potions in there to make up for the damage that he's going to take. But have some goblins, have some skeletons in Quest 1 with this ability. And then maybe a little bit of narration from Mentor to change the notes before you even start the quest, before you start the campaign. Mentor says, "Beware, heroes." That's how Mentor sounds. I can't help you. "Beware. The monsters have developed a new technology involving tops that spin down corridors and are covered in spikes and blades, knives, and sometimes bones." That's what I thought of when you asked about the Beyblade, because you want to be engaging, and you want to give, if it's a child, you want to give them something to work towards, for sure. Really had to draw on a lot of background there to get that going. Oh, good grief. And that's it. I put all these characters on the board because I was going to illustrate, like, if a Chaos Warrior had a trap. And that's really your big bad right there, okay? Gargoyle, maybe, but like the Chaos Warriors that have it, they're going to be super, super threatening because they already suck. Chaos Warriors, Dread Warriors, they're already a force. When they're on the board, it's like, crap. Only 2 of my people, max, are going to be able to deal with that, and they need to deal with it at the same time to have a good chance of taking it off the board before it gets in action. So it's there. The Room of Goats is safe, by the way. No blades have traveled into the Room of Goats. But if a Chaos or Dread Warrior has such a trap, it's going to be able to bounce off of every wall, right? It's going to be the logical extreme. It's not going to be able to bounce off of anything that's not a wall, so you're not really going to be able to stop it midway and have it go into a room or anything like that. But what can you do? You can have them work towards that mechanic to where it makes sense in a scalable way. So if you're standing here, let's not make the goat room the example. Let's put a stone door outside of this room, and let's put a chaos warrior in here. He's big. He takes up almost the whole room. You're here below the chat. You are a barbarian wearing plate mail because I'm too lazy to change the color and shape of the icon. And you throw a blade. I almost said it. You throw a bladed top, and you know that this bladed top that you have created when you first bought it from the engineer, you specified, you said, I want this bladed top to be able to have the ability to turn at exactly 4 tiles, no more, no less. And he's like, well, are you sure you don't want 5 tiles? Are you sure you don't want 3 tiles? This bladed top will travel 10 tiles, and it will turn at the 4th tile every time. So wherever your position is, whatever you're doing, you make sure that you take that into account, because this is not going to be like the god weapon. And then your character says, yeah, I think 4 feels good. So here it is. Here's their time to shine. They are 4 squares away, obviously, as you can see from the tiles that I've accurately drawn to scale on the board, from the door. When he throws this top, it's going to turn and go into the room. Now, the amount of attack, that's going to depend on the monsters you've killed, or defeated, destroyed. That's going to depend on the amount of monsters whose dingoes ate their babies, and that's going to depend on what you engineered. But you could build a whole... This really went a lot farther than I thought it was. I was actually going to just draw something up and it was going to take 30 seconds, and I kind of went off my gourd here, getting into all kinds of trap ideology. I'm actually going to take this and put it in Project F now. This is a great idea for Project F. So that's the trap thing. I've been talking about an announcement, and I've probably made it out to be a bigger thing than it is, but I am going to go to Gen Con. I'm going to be at Gen Con opening day, Thursday. I'm going to walk around. It's going to be the very first time I've ever been to Gen Con, so I hope to see a lot of the folks who are fans of the channel also there. If I don't see you, not a big deal. Good deal though. I hope that you do implement it, and I hope that it's fun. And there are so many ways to do it. Everybody watching could do it a different way. Yeah, I'm glad nobody asked me about Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dragon Ball. Is the Gen and Gen Con short for J? It's short for Generation X, which is one of the best comics to come out of Marvel. And man, if only they did a TV series or a movie about that, I would be down. I would be down so much for a movie about the Phalanx Covenant, not the one that they did, but a better one. An animated movie, because you barely can ever go wrong with those. Are you okay? You just fell backwards. Do you need some water? You doing good? All right. All right. As long as you're good. You just fell back. Your skull rolled back, your eyes rolled back in your head. It was weird. It was kind of cool. As long as you're okay, we'll keep going. I was thinking about that a lot lately. I was taking a trip down nostalgia lane and trying to remember why I really loved X-Men. And the Phalanx Covenant was I got all 4 issues one Christmas when I was vacationing in Florida from a Toys R Us. And I read them, and I already liked Banshee as a character. Like, he was already one of my favorite characters for some reason. I don't know why. And Emma Frost. I liked Emma Frost before Marvel Rivals. I liked Emma Frost before she got cool. Because she was already hot. So I loved the comic. Oh, and Sabretooth was in it too. I loved that series so much, but what I really loved about it was Gen X. Generation X was a group of teenagers. They didn't have the name for their group at all. Group of teenagers that was captured by the Phalanx, and I think it was Monet Saint Claw. I don't remember her names. I don't remember very many of their names or like who they were now, but they broke free. They teamed up. They defeated the Phalanx and all that. They got their own comic, and I always wanted to read their comic because I thought that those characters were so cool. Like I really liked all of the Gen X characters. But no, Gen Con's a board game convention in Indiana. I'm gonna go on Thursday. I'll be there the opening day. So, pray for me. I'm going to get stampeded. I got my tickets, will call. I've been keeping it quiet because I haven't, even after I got the tickets, I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it. And now I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to make it. So I'll be there Thursday. Most everything is sold out, but I've got a HeroQuest game at 11 that I'm going to try to make. If I see you there, if you see me there, say hi. Yell Ash. I might have my recording equipment out. I might be like taking video or whatever. You still say hi. I don't care. Do I think the Rogue Era Elf Pack is going to become available again? I saw your question earlier. I'm very sorry I skipped over it. Little Wig, welcome to the chat. Do I think it will? I'll say that I didn't think the Monk would, and then the Monk came back, so it's really hard to say. It's part of the Quest Jam Winners Pack, so whoever won the Quest Jam is going to get their own mint condition sealed box Rogue Air. I don't know. It would be in their best interest to release it, but everything is always questionable now. Especially right now. The board game industry is getting hit hard. There's thing after thing after thing right now happening, and it's tough to have a long-term plan that just makes sense and has all these contingencies. It's tough. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get another Rogue Air release. You missed Crypt of Perpetual Darkness? Well, it's back. It's I think August. I think it's supposed to no, September. I think it got pushed to September. You can pre-order it now. But if you find that it's not in stock when you go to pre-order it, just wait. That should come back into it's too early for it to not come back into stock repeatedly. It'll probably happen over and over again. But you should be able to get Crypt, like retail Crypt. You're talking about Mythic Crypt, it's retail Crypt now. Joe Manganiello did the right thing, and they reached whatever deal they needed to reach for them to be able to release that. I got it too. I got it too. I got my dragon. I've been making fun of Venom for years. And then the first Light Dragon came out, and I said, Venom, I'm so sorry. It's Venom, I've done you wrong, man. I've done you dirty. Venom, you're awesome. Venom, you're beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Why did I bring up X-Men? Oh, because of the Gen Con joke. Ha ha ha. Making sure I finished that thought. I think I finished all my thoughts. I was going to play some Elden Ring, but I see now that all the tickets for that event are sold out. I didn't know it was going to be a ticketed thing. That sucks. So I'll probably grab a few, like, generic tickets, and if I get a chance to sit down and play some Elden Ring with Steamforged, I'm going to do that, because I haven't broke open my set to play yet, so I need to play it. I need to understand if I even really like the game. I love Elden Ring so much, but if I don't like the game, then that's That's 2 entire shelves that are completely full of content that I don't need to have in here, taking up space and taking up room. I would keep them. I would keep them anyway. I'd probably rebox them. I would do what I call a what do I call it? A mega boxing or whatever. I think I've said master boxing, but Australia doesn't like me using that word. So it was fun to meet some of the Perpetual Darkness team at UKG. I bet it was. It would be awesome to get an interview. It would be awesome to sit and actually talk to Avalon Hill at Gen Con on Thursday, this coming Thursday. If I can manage to do that, I will. Because I would love to have an interview with Avalon, but it won't quite go the way that I envisioned it going years ago, but it's fine. What about Wizards of M? Guess on when? Yeah, I'm guessing they're going to tease it at the convention this week. I hope they do. I really hope they do. It wouldn't be the first time that they've had more than one thing like kind of going at the same time and public facing in some way. Have you played the TTS mod of HeroQuest? No, because I don't. I have TTS, but I don't ever use it. I don't get in and play it, or it's another one of those things. I have to. What's the word? Coordinate with somebody else, and I don't know if I got the spoons for it. Hello, Ike. Ask then about Wizards of Moscar. Yeah, I think I could. They've been asked before, and they like giving the corpo answer of, we'll see. You never know. Smiley emoji, wink emoji. I'll play. I appreciate that. One of these days, I'm going to work out something. Ribby was talking about this cool dice integration I think he made for Kurgan over at Home of HeroQuest fans Twitch stream, so you could play HeroQuest when they're streaming it live. And it's a dice roll integration, so I think you can roll the dice in the chat and it'll roll the dice on the screen, 3D dice on the screen. And that's how you can get your numbers and how you can play interactively with a streamer. And I think that that's really, really cool. Hello, Chad360. Really enjoyed the recent D&D board game video and all the game components. Thanks for doing that. You're welcome. Remind them I'm happy to write them a new quest book for Wizards of Morcar. I did that Dungeons and Dragons video. And I said in that video, yeah, I've got a D&D video here on the channel for the base game. And I looked after I published that, and I looked, and I said, where the hell's that D&D video that I said I had? It turns out I never made one. I made that claim very confidently. I have the Mandela effect memory in my brain, psyoped in there, firmly, doing it. But I never actually did it. So I've got to get the D&D video published now for the base game. Yeah, I'm like, there's no way, right? I'm still on Amalgamash. Obviously, it's still on Amalgamash. I go and I look at Amalgamash, and it's got nothing, and I'm like, would I have given it a joke title? Like, I'm looking at everything. I looked at descriptions, and there's no D&D board game anywhere on there. So I'm like, okay, I just never did it. It was on my list of things to do, and I got the expansion, and I had time, and I did the expansion video. Didn't do the base game video. Base game video is done now. I just need to schedule it. So it'll probably in a couple days. I wanted to... You remember seeing the video? Don't tell me that. I'm going to go crazy. Did I do it or not? The Parker game video specifically, not the Dungeons and Dragons WizKid, what do they call them? Adventure board game. They're very similarly titled. Not like Castle Ravenloft, Wrath of Ashardlon. Not those. the one that's divorced from all of the existing lore. Sadly, it shouldn't be. There should be existing, but it's cool as its own thing. Thank you so much, Ike D, for the $5. I appreciate that very much. I was going to say, if anybody wants to donate some dosh so that I can afford some stuff at the convention, I would appreciate it. But there's no need to do it, of course, because I bought a camera specifically for the convention, and I decided that I actually hate the camera. So I'm going to return the camera, and that's going to be a lot of money back, because cameras are not cheap. Even cameras that I don't like. As always, my phone is superior in every way, and I just don't understand at all. I bought an Insta360 X5. I was just going to mount it to my chest and walk through the convention and record the whole experience, but there's no reason to have a 360 camera in that context, but the footage looked beautiful. And of course, footage always looks beautiful in the demo videos and stuff. I should have watched more review videos, because now whenever I watch third parties review it and stuff, then they're not sponsored and they're not showing pre-recorded footage from the camera developer, it's like, maybe it's not the best looking film. And I also wanted something to film close up, because obviously I'm filming my hands and miniatures and stuff a lot really close, so it can't do close-up video at all. Like, it's terrible. A GoPro 12 can, if you get the mod for it, the macro mod, and things look pretty nice. So I might consider getting a GoPro 12 or 13, but I think I'm just gonna get another phone. I think I'm just gonna get a Samsung Galaxy 20, like what I have now, another Ultra, and just use it as my second camera. Unfortunate acronym. I can't believe that game would be going for 400. Don't buy it for 400. Unless you're talking about the expansion. The expansions can go for pretty crazy prices. 400 is still too high, unless it's a combination of the base game and one of the X-Packs. Hey, Talisman Tavern, thank you very much for joining in and for hanging out. You're good company. Stay safe out there. .360 camera is great for if I needed it for certain things, but walking through a convention and doing interviews with people, no, I should have. I let my FOMO, or I don't know what I let speak for me. It's a flagship product, and I spent money on it, but I'm going to return it. I know for sure I'm not going to bring it to the convention. There's no need. It's not going to work the way I want it to. I don't like those kinds of action camera warps. I don't know why. I thought it would be okay. It's got a linear mode too, but you can't film close. It's just I'm so disappointed in myself. So yeah, I would rather spend the money on board games. I'm looking forward to seeing what games could entice me to buy them. I'm hoping to check out Escape the Dark Castle. I looked to see if Games Workshop had a booth, and I'm sure they do. But I really wanted to get into Warhammer Underworlds, and I don't see anybody playing that. I don't see anything going on for that. I really, really want to sit down and learn and play Underworlds with somebody. Quick skirmish game. 62 warbands? Highly, highly collectible for me. It very much wants me to collect it. Especially with those 4-packs of warbands on Amazon right now. Underworlds is very much wanting me to collect it and put together the minis and paint them and maybe play it, but like, I don't even care if I get it and don't end up playing it. I just think they're neat. Will I ask about a re-release of Dungeon Quest? Avalon Hill doesn't have the rights to Dungeon Quest. I'm sure they could license it, and I would love to see Avalon Hill do it. But, I don't know. Drakborgen is already getting a re-release, but it's like only in... Or it's already had a re-release, but it's only in Sweden. It's only in Swedish, so yeah. Not very useful to film minis. Where'd you get those expansions in base game? Bye, Hobo Artist. This is lovely. Lovely hanging out. Thanks for being a great muse for a quarter of the overall content here. We come up with some really cool trap mechanics. I didn't expect to do that at all, but that covers the HeroQuest design portion, so I didn't end up going to HQuest Builder. That was what I was planning on doing, but I'm kind of glad I went this other route instead. Please make more of these. I should. I really do want to stream more. So have a good one. We'll see you next time. You can see you in the Discord too. UK based, the D&D game can be found in charity shops for like $5. The adventure one, that's good. I mean, I'm glad that is accessible, because it's frankly underrated here. Like it's a very decently put together game, especially for not being TSR. I'm sorry, but TSR. We have had attempt after attempt at Dungeons & Dragons board game, right? TSR started with some stuff way back. We got Dragon Strike, which is a fantastic starter. If you want to get technical, Dragon Quest is a little more explicit in that when you're playing and when you're done, it's like, hey, kids, did you enjoy this 5-quest campaign? Maybe you'd like to spend money on a completely different system and get into Dungeons and Dragons for realsies. And while that's fine, it's like, this is a board game in its own right. Like, respect it. Parker's D&D has care. I'm breathing too much into the mic. It has a lot of care applied to it, and it has really good design conventions applied to it. I really, really like a lot about the D&D Parker game. I particularly like the trap setup, and I like how much they've been able to limit, or they were able to limit the amount of overall symbols and stuff in the books. So they did really good. See you, Little Wig. Thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yeah, Dragon Strike had the amazing S-tier VHS tape with the Academy Award-winning actors who were all robbed. What is YZ? What is MYZ Zone Wars and YZE? What are those? I'm trying to work out the acronym, and I can't figure it out. Seeing the recent hype GW's been giving Warhammer Quest, think they may... I don't want to get my hopes up, sack of ham. I think if they re-release Warhammer Quest 1995, I will be on that day one. I don't care. I just don't care. I will buy it day one. Pre-order, whatever. I'll do videos. I will kiss their toes. Which is slang for be very happy for them if you're from Australia. Oh, Mutant Year Zero. Yeah, the dice system is great for it. It's dripping with design. It's just dripping with design. And it came out in 2003. And I'm like, people were more than capable of making games at that level. It kind of drives me nuts that it's like 10 quests and done, and then the expansions are just a handful of quests each. Like, it really deserved to go on and on. They could have adapted D&D stuff to it, like Ravenloft, or they could have done a Dark Sun setting. I mean, it really had potential to just go and go and go. I actually don't have a big knowledge of skirmish games at all. I got I was aware vaguely of Underworlds only because my not so local friendly game store, which is now not a game store anymore, they just sell friggin' Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I guess RIP to them when they finally go out of business. They had the goblin, the loon court, Grimcrack's loon court, Grimcrag, Grimsnot, whatever. His loon court. He's a goblin with a loon court. And it was clearance, and I should have bought it, and I kick myself all the time because it was only like, I think it was $20. It was between 12 and 20. I just should have picked it up because I thought to myself, man, those are cool models. Look at this little squig, little Warhammer Fantasy guys. It's Age of Sigmar, but in my mind, I didn't know yet, and I thought I'm gonna put them together. I'm gonna paint them, and I'm gonna make a video about them and put them in HeroQuest. Didn't do it. Went back. It was gone. All the board games were gone. They had dragon cases and sleeves lining the walls, and I'm like, do you guys still sell board games? They're like, no. I'm like, do you still take board games as credit? No. So you just sell Magic the Gathering here now? Yeah. Thank you for your time. But yeah, no. Quite a while later, I'm like, Underworld. I need to look at that again. And brother, when I tell you, I suddenly got overwhelmed by the amount of information and like release stuff. I went on a deep dive. I was obsessed. I did like a day-long study, and I got a spreadsheet with all the releases and all the compilations you can get on Amazon, and like the cheapest way for me to get into it and get started. Because I got on eBay, and I'm like, let's just find a lot and be done with it. And, I'll spend a whole check. And I found a lot, and it was like $600. And I'm like, no, I was kidding. I don't want to spend a whole check. Why is it $600? There's not that much. There's not that much that's come out for it. Boy, howdy, was I wrong. There's been a crap ton of stuff that's come out for it. So I want to play it. The models are gorgeous. I love how they're all different colors. They're faction colored. But like, even if you get two undeads, they're different shades. Everything has its own unique color. I love that stuff. It's hell on my desire to paint, because if it's faction colored, I don't want to paint it, but no, I agree with you, Peter. The mechanics and stuff are really well developed. HeroQuest leaves a lot to improve, and I think it's not the player's responsibility to fix the game, obviously, but like it's here, and it has the fans that it has because it's so improvable that most people who are playing it, who finish the initial fun rush of its simplicity, are ready to mod it. It's easy to mod, so I got nothing against that. But man, it is nice to play a dungeon crawler that has a less ambiguity and more stuff. And D&D Parker, not to keep going on about it, but like, it's monster cards and it's weapon or gear cards, and honestly all of its cards are like some of the best cards because they have all of the right information in the right places. They're extremely readable, and they just show you, if you want to make stuff like this and homebrew your own, you can make these things very, very different. It's very homebrewable. I don't see a lot of homebrew on it, but there could be a lot out there, and I'm just not seeing it. Warhammer Quest killed it because a board game of that simplicity without a solo or co-op mode. Parker D&D game released too late, and if it released 5, it would have been much more popular. Yeah, definitely. Going back to Warhammer Quest, though, if they made that a re-release, I'd be on it day one, and I would be really hoping that they would re-release the expansions as well, because I have the books for the expansions. I have the books for Catacombs of Terror. I have the books for Lair of the Orc Warlord. I do not have anything else for them. I had the Orc Boss from Warlord because I actually bought him in his original blister pack way back when I was a kid, physically at the store. I included him in a box of other stuff that I sold to somebody as a lot, and I wish I had kept him. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of him. Oh, and the little snotling carrying the treasure chest, sold him too. Well, I included him for free. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that at all. Should have kept him. Should have kept those two. I might get in touch with the person I sent them to and be like, hey, I don't mean to be this guy, but like, how much would you charge me to send him back? I think I might. Very apologetically. There was in the works a fan-made expansion for the D&D Parker by one of the gamekeepers in the Spanish community. Last update 9 months ago. Also has templates for fan-made stuff. That's amazing. I should probably look into that, because at some point, when I run out of HeroQuest stuff, I'd pivot to other games. That it would be awesome to have another game that people could expect me to pivot to. Painted my first minis at all last weekend. Just finished a classic HeroQuest Goblin and a modern HeroQuest Orc today. That's cool. Bet they look awesome. Numbered cards and miniatures for it. Yeah, that's unique too. That is also unique. That they actually have numbers on them. They're technically all different, just by a little bit, because of those numbers. Yeah, not perfect, but so much that you look at and you're like, man, why don't other people do this thing? Why don't other people do this thing? Oh. So, escape the Dark Castle. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get into War Machine. If Games Workshop ever comes out with a mech skirmish game, I'll be all about that. I don't care what setting it has. If it's its own thing, if it's Warhammer, it doesn't matter. I would be all over it. But Steamforged, no, they're too hit and miss. They're too hit and miss and miss and miss and hit and miss and miss. I shouldn't crap talk them. I haven't played Epic Encounters, so we'll see. But like, their design is dripping with class and beauty, and the introductions to rule sets of their games are so eloquent, but then the follow-up is not really there. Like, I'm in a crowdfund to get the 2nd edition rules of Bard Sung. You shouldn't have made a game that required rules to be 2nd editioned later. You should have gotten it right when you were designing the game. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about that. You should not have to have an errata. It's okay, and I don't hate that. But Elden Ring, for as expensive as it was... Oh, Epic Encounters is just a 5e thing? I thought it was its own thing. Well, that makes me feel better. So I'll never actually play Epic Encounters. I have no complaints on the sculpts. Everything Steamforged does is, in terms of sculpts, are beautiful. They're amazing. They're always really, really nice looking, really threatening, really terrifying. I've got... Where is he? Flying Dragon Akil. Without a doubt, the biggest miniature I'll ever have. It's not a miniature. And without a doubt, the biggest one I'll ever seek to get. I don't want a miniature that's bigger than that. I do not have the room for it. I really hope with the Rotten Sorcery packs they come out with for Elden Ring, they don't have anything that big. We don't need to chase that dragon, figuratively or literally. Star Scourge Radon, obviously, that would be a large mini. It doesn't have to be that size. That size is its own thing. I'm not a 5e player, so I'm okay skipping out on that, though. Bard Song, I'll actually sit down and learn to play it and everything after the 2nd edition rules come out. And if it's fun, I will keep Bard Song and I will play through the campaign. But if it's not fun, I will get rid of Bard Song. I only got it for $50 anyway. And I don't really have a whole lot else on my itinerary. I just want to go check out the games. I do a lot of window shopping when I go to conventions. I like walking very slowly and poking around at everything and just getting lost in the wondrous joys of the convention. I have not played Massive Darkness. I feel like I've heard of it. Probably can't place. I'll go ahead and look it up. Excuse me. The Epic Encounter minis are good for... I don't doubt it. I bet they are. If the base sizes are not too incompatible. Massive Darkness. Okay, that cover looks familiar. I like the minis from Munchkin Dungeon. I thought I had... I have Munchkin Deluxe. I don't have Munchkin Dungeon. I guess I thought I had Munchkin Dungeon. I was going to get that Munchkin Big Box, but I decided it wasn't for me. I've had a lot of fun playing Munchkin, but ultimately I don't think I'm... Well, now those hero boards are quite interesting. Quite interesting. Oh, I need to see if Chip Theory is going to be at Gen Con, because if Chip Theory's there, I might be able to get some tickets to learn how to play the Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. I have that game, and I was learning to play with the Dized app, and don't get me wrong, the Dized app is wonderful. It's amazing. Every game ever should have a Dized app tutorial. In case that is how you learn. And I have discovered that interactive tutorials in an app are a great way for my brain to catch on to things. I have no complaints about that. It's the gameplay being locked behind an app that I usually have complaints about. But a tutorial, that's fine. I can get behind that. Make teaching accessible. However, if I can get there and have a human run me through it and be there to keep me on my toes, I'll be very appreciative of that, and I can learn if I need to keep that game or not, because it takes up a lot of table space and a lot of time. I have original HQ, but missing one treasure card and one die. Do you think it's worth it to complete it? I have all the new stuff to play. Completing the old would just be for fun. It depends. You could probably find a set of old dice for not too much money. The one treasure card, inventory your stuff, and if you figure out what treasure card it is, it might not be too hard to get it. It might not be too difficult to get those two things. Whether it's worth it, though, that's up to you. Everybody's different with their personal worth values. Like, Massive Darkness looks pretty cool. Those hero boards look pretty cool to me. Modular, I see. But like, $20 to me might not be $20 to the next person, and the next person, that same $20 might be a completely different. Not to grossly oversimplify it or dodge the question. Depends on how... Massive Darkness Rainbow Crossing, what's that? That's very colorful. You have all this gothic horror stuff. 4 Horsemen. Ooh, that looks nice. Literally just the 4 Horsemen. That's cool. Heavenfall, Hellscape, and then Rainbow Crossing. I love it. That's awesome. It's so colorful. There's Hellscape. Neat. Very neat. All right, that's going to go on my list. Massive. Rainbow Crossing is the cow level. Okay. Gotta go now. Might see y'all on Discord. Bye, PDXY666. Thank you for hopping in. It's fun hanging out. Stream's about to wrap up anyways. I've done most of the stuff that I planned on doing. Talked about the games I wanted to play. There are a couple of creators that I wanted to shout out, and I will go ahead and we'll watch one of their, if I can find them. I'm going to find them. Oh, man, where are you? Well, I was going to do a live react, but I think it would be okay if I did a not live react. And I just made a video about it. But there's a couple of creators that I can at least... Oh, that's super cute. I'm already following this artist. Super cute. In an alternate universe, an oven is putting its head in me. Wow. The things you read on social media. Blew my mind. Now I forgot what I was doing. We are looking for a very particular creator. Mice and Mystics is something I have heard of. I have no experience with it. Why am I not finding this creator? Oh. That's them. CSP Chris. We're about to show y'all something that I think is really cool. Are you ready? Before we hop off of here today. So this is CSP Chris on Blue Sky. Why am I not following you? What the heck? I'm already subscribed to your channel. I'm in your Discord. I'm not following you. That can't be right. How come? Okay, I'm following. Golly. Boy, if they see this, that's going to be embarrassing. They are making, they're crafting stuff for basically any game system. Solo, random dungeon tiles, cards, and tokens. This is a picture of them playing Advanced HeroQuest with this system that they've created. So the tiles, very Advanced HeroQuest coded. Corridors, the cards. Monster room, roll 1d6. No extra doors, 1 extra door, 2 extra doors, 6 as 1, and draw a token. Also roll on the room feature table. I like this stuff very, very much. Here's another. You don't see Advanced HeroQuest love very often, so it's really nice to see. Another one showing the passage deck, top of the cards. I like this a lot. I would absolutely buy a set of this and try to work out how to play it with different games. How many goats? How many goats? That's a question for Chris. Definitely. This depends on, I don't think I've ever asked, how many tiles does a goat take up? Are we variable on the goat sizes, as we were with my example of the not Beyblade traps? Are we min-maxing? Are you asking about goat maxing? Finished your lawn work. Have a great day. Bye, Ike. I'm glad you were able to finish your lawn work at the same time you were able to participate in the stream. I have no idea how you did that, but have a great day. use something similar to the guidelines for playing on the original HQ board. Now, this is probably a smart way to do it. But there they are. There they are again, playing Advanced HeroQuest. The photo ops here are lovely. Yes, a group of goats is called a swarm. There was an error with the Oxford and Webster and every other English dictionary that's ever been invented, where they inaccurately list a group of goats as something else, but it's a swarm. Giselle team. Giselle team. Here's the video tutorial. Got ads trying to play music. I don't know if the music is... There we go. Cricket staff terrain. I don't know if you can hear the audio from the video, and I don't want to fuss around with it right now, but I'm going to show you a couple of things from the video. We can see that these are basically transfers, and they can incorporate scatter terrain, and we are making the doors. I wasn't entirely sure how the doors were made, but it's all crafting. I mean, it's pure crafting. Pure crafting. Pure crafting. Got to go, Giles. Thank you for hanging out. Wonderful company as always. Good luck with the folks. I'll toast you out. A toast to Giles, for he's a jolly good fellow. That no goblin can deny. I don't know if anybody saw it. Anybody here? I did an interview with Giles for his Sunday Quest podcast. It should be up. Should be up on his socials. So if you want to hear me and him banter a bit about Sunday Quest, that is available. And we won't go too far into this today. We're going to do a proper video about the crafts of CS Cricket Staff Terrain. For now, I got a couple of other creators I want to bring to your attention. I don't think I actually have her followed. Whoops, I did not spell her name right. I got some Dragon Ball Z results. Why am I dumb? Oh, and I had my quality turned down to 240p, which was not the creator's faults. Been subbed to Cricket Staff for a while. Good deal. Good deal. Turn the sound down here. So I asked Cricket Staff if I could talk about their work in a video and do some live reactions. I have permission there. I don't have permission from these other two, but I haven't watched very many of her videos. I just know that I'm interested and I want to. This is, I think, Teen Fielding. It could be Time, but I think it's short for Christine, so I'm hoping I'm saying it correctly. Teen Fielding. And she is putting together an entire castle. And this is another, it's going to involve a lot of crafting. If you're up for the crafting, this could be a multi-day project for you, depending on how deep you want to go with it. But she's got a lot of other crafting tutorials and stuff up as well, so that's definitely something I want to look at and see how much of her stuff is modular. And now we have a Geico commercial, and the Geico Gecko is small enough to probably go onto the HeroQuest board and experience it in real time, at real scale for him. So very jealous of that. Wish I was the Geico Gecko. Actually, he looks like he's a little bit out of scale, but we're going to skip that ad. And then, yeah, she just goes into detail about how to make this entire dream terrain that also functions as a DM screen. So this is an extremely useful project. If you don't want to do like a castle built into a hill with some villages and stuff over it, you can definitely have something else presented, but you can use a lot of the tips from this, and I won't go through the video too much. I don't want to get in trouble. But the idea of it being a GM screen is what's really cool to me. So I got one more that I want to look at, and this is something I meant to do further back because he has a time-sensitive thing going on right now. Hello, Gamers Quest. Welcome in. Geico. Does it HeroQuest? They're going to tell you it does. I'm not so sure. This is Rossi Does Drawings. Absolutely lovely person. They do drawings of goblins. They are a huge goblin fan. They may be a goblin in disguise. They have commissions open if you would like your own goblin. But more than just 2D goblins, they also sculpt 3D goblins. And they have some physical materials out. I got a goblin keychain from them, a physical, real keychain, when I subscribed to their Patreon. But we have a lot of just very charming, different goblin and goblinoid and goblin-coded works here, including this lovely vampire who would not be welcome in Australia. And we have different thoughts from this creator, but this is gold here. This is the Goblin City Guard. He has sculpts up for sale right now that you can buy and actually have shipped to you. And he's UK based, so if you're in the UK, these won't be too terrible on shipping. But if you're outside the UK, it's going to be a consideration. So several different very charming sculpts. And I don't want to have the music because I don't want to get in trouble. But we have this lovely preview, but I want to get to the sculpts, which are not going to show in the preview. Unless I'm just missing them. No, they're not here. They're not here. We'll look at the image. This is the image of the sculpts that he's done for this particular Kickstarter that he has going on. And this Kickstarter stops in 7 days. So I'm going to do another video where I properly put a bit more of a spotlight on this because I really like this creator. And I think his sculpts are super charming. They are lovely. They're very, very classy. So something to keep an eye on. Easy to follow, and if you like two-dimensional goblin art as well, he does quite a lot of that. So I don't have a link to the Kickstarter to throw down into the description right now, but again, I will have a video with all that information. We'll talk about these creators and a few others that I follow, and that is about it. I did not give as much time to this as that pumpkin is adorable. That's from Sia. Some Warhammer stuff. Shares Warhammer stuff. I was actually making a video game for Rossi in Smile Game Builder about his idea for a cozy goblin game, and I stopped having the time to do that, so I had to separate the projects I no longer had time for, and I stopped it. But my game development vlogs on that game are over on the Amalgamash channel. I have 5 of them up if anybody's interested in game development, video game development specifically. They can check that out. And they could pick up from where I left off if they'd like. And maybe someday I'll get back to it because I think it was a lovely idea. And it felt like a true honor and privilege to make a game with that idea in mind. To say, here you go, Rossi, this is based on your idea. Your 3D pen has come in surprisingly handy for modern HQ games. Yeah, I actually would really like to have a 3D pen. Saw a Korean artist on YouTube lately doing some awesome things with a 3D pen, and it's very inspiring. I think that I will call it at this point and say, done with the stream for now. It's been probably one of the longest streams I've done. I usually cut off at 10. It's 10:49. Gonna go share a cup of coffee with Shar, make some more coffee if she hasn't done so already, and get some projects started for the rest of the day. I don't have a whole lot else going on, a couple chores that I have to do, and then get back to work on Project F and Project G. And hopefully Project G onwards won't be affected by recent goings-ons in the board game, card game, payment card processing industries. And as always, I hope you'll look forward to the next exciting adventures. I might try to do this sort of every Sunday. I don't know, because it definitely impacts my ability to make pre-recorded content. But I really wanted to be live today to talk about Gen Con and how I didn't really have any plans in particular. I'm just going to wander. And I'm not egotistical enough to think that anybody at all would recognize me. But if you happen to be there opening day and you happen to see me, I'm going to be there basically all day. Wave hi. We can talk shop for a bit, and I'll maybe if you're a game developer of any kind or you're at a booth, we can talk a little bit on camera, and you can tell the audience what you think. I'm going. Yes. Oh, it's a little further back in the stream. But yeah, I'll be there Thursday. Only Thursday, but I'll be there pretty much all day Thursday. Yeah. I was sad to see that like Steamforge was going to have an Elden Ring playthrough thing. I'm like, that sounds awesome. I'm going to do that. I didn't know it was ticketed, and by the time I found out, it was like, crap. It's ticketed and they're all sold out. I'm not playing Elden Ring. Oh well. I got a couple of HeroQuest event things booked. One's for 11 a.m. So I probably should not have chosen the will call, but I'm going to go there and stand in the will call line for hopefully not very long. Because I just watched a video a couple days ago from somebody who said that they were in the will call line for an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh no. Then I saw a video of what open day looks like, and I was like, oh no, maybe I should have done a different day. Oh well, that's okay. May I encounter a goat? I might encounter a goat. If I do, I'll take a picture. And I will tag you. I'll be like, here it is. Here's the blessing. HQ at 9, Talisman at 11. I think my HeroQuest thing's at 11, because I was counting on being there not that early, and my wife finally convinced me to just get a hotel, drive up there Wednesday, stay overnight Wednesday, and then Thursday, I'll just go first thing. I'll be there door open, or as close to it as possible after I've had my breakfast and all that. And then I can make all the events that I can make the only event that I managed to absolutely schedule, and the rest of it's just going to be wandering. Yeah. I'm going to warn you now. Well, I really don't have anything to warn you about. I have no idea what I'm wearing. I have no idea if my hair is going to be down or in a ponytail. I don't know how hot it's going to be. Yeah, no, I know. I'll be at the stupid will call line early. It's stupid. It was dumb. Should have had my tickets mailed. Should have just had them mailed. Thought I was doing a smart. It was a dumb. Don't have a lot of plans otherwise, though. Probably meet up. There's a couple other people from my town that are going, and they've asked me if I wanted anything there, and I'm like, I'm going to be there. They're like, oh, really? You want to meet up and get some, hang out? I'm like, maybe. You could just come over. We live in the same town. I don't really want to spend my Gen Con time. Not to be a word that's not allowed in Australia, but kind of just want to make sure I spend as much time as I can wandering and staring at game boxes. Well, if we're in the same line, we can talk shop, and it'll make the line move faster. In fact, if we are in the same line, chances are it'll move so fast that we won't have time to talk about anything at all anyway, because that's how the reality works. And then we'll be in the convention doing things. But I'll probably have a camera, and I'll probably have it on recording everything. So, If anybody's like, hey, shut that off, I want to ask, I want to talk to you with that, then I'll shut it off. That's no problem. I will respect any and all wishes. But I will probably be filming a lot. Yeah, just cast Swift Wind on the entire line. I'll just cast Pass Through Rock and I'll just skip to the front. Cast Courage and roll an extra attack die on the people in front of me. Why not? See, I can't do that, Gamer's Quest, because the other people in line will have, like, ridiculous, overpowered spells that they can counter attack with from other games. Cast Fire off! Then I'll get absolutely trounced by some, like, War Machine ability or some crap that I didn't see coming. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will collaborate, coordinate, and such accordingly. And I will see you in the next exciting stream or video. Might do, nah, I'm not going to do a video today. Might do some polls. And I will be on the lookout for any and all tips. Because I'll need them. Because it's my first Gen Con. Not my first convention, definitely my first Gen Con. And I expect the worst and I hope for the best. So, bye for now, guys. Bye for now. Thank you so much for hanging out. Bye for now. Prepare for this, because here it comes.